Hey, you're listening to Innovators Can Laugh, the fun startup podcast. I'm your host, Eric Milcher. On ICL, we interview an innovative entrepreneur in the European tech startup scene every week. My goal is to have my guests share their wisdom while having a little fun in the process. Now let's dive in. Dobro utro, Elitza. Nango se radvan de te vidya dnes.
Wow, Eric, good morning. That was good.
And thank you. And for my audience, did you know that having a chatbot on your website can allow you to automate up to 75% of your customer questions and inquiries with a conversational AI digital assistant? Well, my guest today is Bulgarian entrepreneur Elitza Stoilova, founder of Umni AI. Umni is a no-code platform that helps businesses create, manage, and train AI chatbots for their website without any technical knowledge. Elitza has over 20 years experience in the hotel industry and has successfully created, developed, and implemented strategies when it comes to marketing and operations. Ellie, welcome to Innovators Can Laugh.
Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful podcast, Eric.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, so I want to talk about love at first sight, okay? But not the kind that most people immediately think of, but another experience that you had when you were watching a YouTube video about chatbot and paralegals. What did you discover and why did you feel that way, Ellie?
Yeah, that's a long story. And it comes from the time when I was working at a hotel in Mariana Islands in Asia Pacific. I was working during the high season, some 16, 18 hours a day. And one night at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was so exhausted from my work. And it was actually all repeater and task, the same questions customer ask, just hundreds of customers that change in front of your face. You don't remember them. The questions are the same. It's like a Groundhog Day, the movie. And in the morning when I was in my car, totally exhausted, didn't have time to eat nothing that day, I got a call from a customer asking me to translate to the waiter to not put onion on the pizza. And I was like, what? Really? I had a break moment at that time and I promised myself that something has to change. It's not normal to have such a waste of time for human beings. That's not fair to people that do these jobs. Really, believe me. So I started searching for various instruments to automate the communication, to put the information between me and the customer. So when the customer come to me, I'm okay to speak again 16 hours a day with him, but it has to have value for me too as an employee. It has to make me want to go to job, learn new things, be a better professional. So during my job in hospitality, I was testing different instruments, even wrote the first website myself just to put information on it and to share it with customers. So really, I was one of the first people on the islands doing, at that time, was called web marketing, not a digital marketing, because all the customers were abroad, other side of the ocean.
Uh-huh.
So the only way to get to them was to go digital. I was writing tourist guidebooks, printing them, designing them, anything that I could do. But it was not enough. And when I came back to Bulgaria and started thinking what's next, one day I was watching a YouTube video and they were discussing chatbot paralegals and how successful they do the job.
Uh-huh.
I was like, gosh, I don't know what chatbot is, but I know what paralegal is. And if chatbot can be a paralegal, chatbot can do anything. Let me see what this chatbot is. And that was my falling in love from first sight. I was like, I don't know, what are you or what are you? But that's what I need. That's what I'm looking for, chatbots. And that's when my path in chatbot work began.
Okay, that's when the love started, huh? That's when the attraction began. Now let's go back to
years and we're still in love with each other.
Okay, because you can program them to say the things you want, right? But let's yeah. So let's go back before, because you said you were working for a hotel in the Pacific American Islands. Okay, first, that's a little bit out of the ordinary because that's very remote. It's an island that's very far from Bulgaria. And how did you get there? First of all,
through internet. I was searching for a job somewhere. Let me start from the point that I was a reporter, and one day I did something totally crazy. I decided to work as animator in hotel in Turkey. So I dropped my reporter job in a newspaper. By education, I also am reporter, a newspaper and TV reporter. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to Turkey working as animator, entertaining people. And that's when my journey in tourism began, because I really liked the job and I didn't want to go back to the newspaper immediately. So I started traveling using this type of profession, entertaining people in hotels. And from Turkey, I moved to Tunisia. From Tunisia, I moved to Morocco. And at that time, that was 2020, the internet cafe became very popular. That was the time when actually internet became a mass service and people were kind of didn't have internet at home, so they had to go to internet cafe to search online.
I remember doing the exact same thing when I was living in Mexico abroad, and you would have these rows of computers and you would pay like for 30 minutes or an hour, the internet cafes. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I was doing on my weekend, on my day offs and weekends. I was going to internet cafes and searching because I love learning. And I find a new instrument to learn just all different things and just click and you're somewhere else, click and you're somewhere else. It was so much fun for me. And I was like, okay, let's see what another place I can find doing what I'm doing right now, but somewhere really far away from here, from North Africa. And I found a job offer from the hotels in Mariana Islands. They were looking for an animator with the English and Russian. I was like, okay, I'm Bulgarian in Africa, and they're looking for somebody with the English and Russian. They would not hire me, but doesn't matter. I'll just apply. And that's how I ended up there in Mariana Islands, because they hired me.
Yeah.
But give me a ticket, one-way ticket, and I didn't know where I'm going, actually.
So did you have the interview over the internet? Like, did you have a pre-interview before you went there?
Just a phone call. They call me, they say, okay, you speak English, you speak Russian, doesn't matter you're Bulgarian, and it doesn't matter you're in North Africa, we'll send you tickets. So just wait for the ticket at home. So I moved back to Bulgaria waiting for my ticket. I got my suitcase and it was one-way ticket to I don't know where, because at that time, 2020, there was no information online where Mariana Islands, and you couldn't find them on any map in the world. They didn't exist. It was someplace, somewhere there in the middle of Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
So like, where I'm going, and what if this is a scam? And I with only one-way ticket and $400 in my pocket, and like I could be totally
that's a little adventurous, Ellie, if I say so myself. And I'm an adventurous person too, but I don't think I would ever did anything like that. So that's requires, bravery on your part and that adventurous spirit. Now, I think I heard you say 2020, but this wasn't the year 2020. Was this the year 2002 maybe?
No, year 2000.
Year 2000. Okay. And then the other thing you said, that it was a position for, and I didn't quite understand you. It sounded like it wasn't a waiter, but it wasn't an entertainer. It was another term that you referred to it as.
Animator.
Oh, animator. Okay, animator.
These are the guys and girls in the leisure resorts that are doing sports, play with kids, do night shows, and stuff like that. That's the job I used for 5 years to travel in different countries.
Those people make the experience at hotels. There's this resort in Bulgaria on the coast. We went to it this summer and last year. And the best part about that experience were the animators. They got our kids dancing on the stage and singing and just having a really good time. And when we went back this year, we saw one of the animators and we were so like, it was like seeing Mickey Mouse, like, there she is. And then we went to go say hi to her, and we're like, you really made our experience last year. And you could tell it was a sort of a joy that she got from just us letting her know that. Because, the food is one thing, the pools are one thing, the room is one thing, but it really comes down to is the experience. And that's something that the animators can make or break that experience. Okay, so you're over there. How long were you at this hotel? And obviously you ascended, because you went from animator to, I guess, the GM at some point. How long were you there, Ellie?
I worked and lived on Mariana Islands for 17 years. Okay. I got stuck there. I went for a year and it's just so easy to get stuck in tropical islands,
There's
So
no hurricanes or no natural, a big,
they are. They
okay.
are hurricanes. So even there was a hurricane after each, I lived for 3 months without water and power. So there are disasters there, but you learn to live with that kind of nature environment. But the rest of the time, you have 24 summer around yourself and tropical fruits and a beautiful lagoon with pure water, clean air. So well, there were a couple typhoons.
Not the type of living conditions in Sofia during the winter, right?
Talk to me about the contrast right now outside the window. Yeah. So I went there for a short time, but somewhere after 6 months of working in this hotel, there was a job opening for sales and marketing department. And I was like, I don't have any sales and marketing experience, but why don't apply? And I got a sales and marketing position in the hotel. And that's when I started developing in sales and marketing area and grew up to director of sales and marketing and then to a GM of the hotel.
All
It
right.
took me 12 years to become GM. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, good for you. Okay. So now you're GM, but you're getting calls at 2 a.m. in the morning from customers asking you to translate that they don't want onion on their pizza. And you're reaching a breaking point. You're exhausted. You're getting to the point of burned out, working 14, 15-hour days. You discover that, hey, chatbots is something new. It can probably relieve some of the common inquiries and questions that you're receiving from customers. So you saw this YouTube video. You mentioned you're back in Bulgaria. What did you do next? Where did you go from there?
At that moment, I applied for Founder Institute Accelerator.
Okay.
When I came back to Bulgaria and I was looking what to do, I ended up in the startup ecosystem here and I started hanging out just to, you haven't been 25 years at home. So what you do, you try to network and find out where the world got by the time you were in tropical islands.
Yes.
So I ended up in the startup ecosystem, start networking. I didn't know what startup is. I didn't know what accelerator is. But when the Founder Institutes opened their season here in Sofia, Bulgaria, it was like, hey, let's apply. I'm going to learn something new and I'm going to meet new friends. So actually, my idea of getting into accelerator was not to start a company, which happened. It was like, oh, let's see what will happen. I was looking for my thing, and my thing happened really on the second week in the accelerator. I entered Founder Institute with an idea about online booking system,
Okay.
which is like 1,965 in the world, I guess. But really, I heard at the accelerator from the mentors, I guess I heard the right questions. And this YouTube video was just the right time, the right place, hearing the right story. And I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. So what was next? The next 4 months in the accelerator, I work on the concept of Umni, the AI chatbots. So look for people for people to join, found my co-founder and found my first customer. That's what happened in the 4 months after this. Wow, that's my thing.
Okay. So you've got customers now like hotels. I believe there's hotels and spas. You've actually got libraries. You've got dermatology clinics. There's even singers that I think that are using your Umni chatbot.
Yeah.
But before we get there, though, did you have to bootstrap everything to get this off the ground, or did you have to get investment right from the very beginning? Can you tell us about that?
We bootstrapped from the beginning. As a GM of a hotel, I had a pretty good salary. So I had savings and I used my savings to start the company and to support it the first months of development.
Okay.
Then during the first year of our work, we were noticed by Canadian venture fund, Low VC. And they gave us a small investment that helped us go through the Death Valley. And
what's the Death Valley?
On the startup language, Death Valley is the time between your launch and your first customer and start getting enough revenue to support yourself.
Okay.
The time you have more expenses than income, and that's the time when most of the startups actually die. Unfortunately, not having enough money to go through this period of technology development, company development, team development, and having enough customers to support yourself on your own.
Yeah.
So
How long was that period for you guys?
for us was around 2 years. We start supporting ourselves. Plus, we had this small investment from low VC.
And where did you find your technical people? Because your background is not necessarily coding or technical, correct?
My background has nothing to do with technology. I told you my first job was a newspaper reporter.
Yeah.
So I studied journalism and PR. Then my second education was in hospitality management. So I have nothing to do with technology, but I love learning. So I told you I wrote my first website myself. I learned HTML to write a website, to put the information for the customer somewhere there online. So I love technology. I think technology is really important in our life because the idea of technology is to release us from the routine so we can focus on ourselves and develop ourselves as potential.
Yeah.
That's my vision of technology. And that's actually my personal motivation why I'm doing what I'm doing. We have to give back time back to people.
Yep.
So people can become better human beings and people. So where I found the tech people around yourself, I look into my network, and that's where I found my co-founder. He's an IT person with over 20 years of experience behind himself. And when I work at the hotels in Mariana Island, I was looking for somebody for some IT projects.
Mhm.
That's, of course, I look back to Bulgaria. And so the guy that is my co-founder now and buddy in crime, let's say, we work together on various small projects, IT projects since 2003.
Okay.
So when I look for a co-founder, I look at him, and not only, even before looking for co-founder, I had so many technical tasks during the accelerator that I couldn't understand.
Yep.
So I looked for somebody just to help me and tell me, okay, what's written here? I don't understand it. Like I have to do some tasks, but I don't know what is technical specification of your mobile app. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I have like 24 hours to create such specification. So I look for somebody to support me. And I call him because that's an IT person I knew and I could trust. And that's how he got involved in Umni. So he was shadowing me almost from day one. And soon he became a believer into what we do and became the co-founder.
Okay. So during this time, this Death Valley period, what other obstacles were you facing? Because it sounds like you had some savings. You had your co-founder who could take charge of the technical aspects. Were there any other big hurdles that you had to overcome?
Of course, looking for, although I'm sales and marketing person, I knew how to sell hotel rooms and activities, but I didn't know how to sell and promote software.
Software product.
And actually, I had first to learn myself what is chatbot, how it works, to create my first chatbot, to be able then to explain it to customers, to be able to translate the technology language into a human one.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the challenges is for people that didn't know anything about chatbot, to explain them in a few simple words what is chatbot and why they need it.
Okay.
People were not educated. They had to get the information in a very simple way. So that was a challenge for me at the beginning. And 5 years later, I'm still learning every single day because the technology developed. We develop. What our team is creating and doing is changing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That's a journey. That's a journey, personal journey and company journey, and my own professional journey too.
Okay. When customers discover Umni, what do they really like about it? What is one of their favorite things, Ellie?
What I see every time when I talk to customer or do a demo, the reaction is 100% the same. Everyone's like, "Oh wow, but that's so easy." Like when people think about chatbot and AI, and especially when they think about AI, the first idea that come in their mind is like, "I'll be back," Arnold Schwarzenegger coming here. So people think that this is something very, very expensive, very complicated, something that they cannot do themselves, something that will take them a lot of time and efforts, and they have to learn a lot and become professionals in some magic there because AI is neighboring to magic for most people. And when they start experiencing creating their first chatbot during the demo or training and stuff like that, that's what is the first reaction. They're like, Oh my gosh, that's so easy.
Okay,
Like,
so how easy is this implementation? Does it require their IT people to get involved?
no, actually, I'll give you a sample with one of our customers. She is an owner of a small beauty salon. When she delivered her first baby, she said, "Oh, I have a lot of calls and I have a baby and I cannot handle it. I need automation." So she came to us. She wanted to create a beauty salon chatbot. And basically, she did it in 1 week between feeding her baby, going outside with the baby for a walk,
Yeah.
and telling her customers.
Wow.
That's it. In a 1 week, she had a chatbot, and she's so happy now with it because just a few numbers now, 100% of the bookings go through the chatbot, especially for promotions. Some 40% of the customers are chatting and making appointments through the chatbot nighttime. And she said she doesn't remember when was the last customer who didn't show up for appointment, because customer now can very easily cancel their appointment on time or change the date and time. So she doesn't have no show up. She doesn't remember when was the last time they didn't show up for the appointment. And she said now her dream is to have her chatbot presented physically in the beauty salon. So she's thinking on putting some box there or some human like toy and put that iPad there with the chatbot, so the chatbot can handle the customer inside of the beauty salon physically there.
Yeah.
She wants to make the next step. That's her dream now, to have a physical chatbot inside of her beauty salon.
That is an
So
awesome,
that
yeah, that's an awesome story. Do you know how many hours she's probably saving a week if you had to guess? I'm wondering.
I am not sure how many hours she saved per week or per month with her chatbots, but I know recently we did a calculation. Our chatbots currently this year, and the year is not over yet, just by the end of October actually, saved over 15,000 work hours to their businesses.
Okay.
And we calculated like 1 to 5 minutes per customer, but we know that our chatbots are saving up to 12 minutes per customer. So we talk about 15 to 30,000 hours this year
Yeah.
saved work hours.
That is,
These are
that's
thousands of work days, thousands
absolutely,
of,
absolutely.
yes.
Anything that can save you time and make you more productive is a win in my book. Okay, a few more questions before we wrap it up here. Some personality questions so we can get to know you better, Ellie. First question: a favorite hobby that you enjoy?
Oh, paper crafts.
Papercraft?
Yes, I love doing things with my hands, gluing, creating 3D objects, making scrapbooks, making cards. So when I was on Mariana Islands, I used to have my own studio, and even on the weekends, I was doing jobs for women to teach them how to do different 3D objects and craft various crafts. So I really love crafting.
Okay.
And another my hobby is Zumba fitness. I used to work 7 years as an instructor, a Zumba fitness instructor
Really?
on Mariana Islands. I love Zumba. I love Latino. And if I hear the music, my body starts dancing before even I know it.
You must have
So,
like this never ending energy. You're working like 14, 16-hour days as a GM and you're teaching Zumba at the same time. Like,
yes, I was doing early morning classes and late night classes. And usually I would change my clothing in the bathroom in the hotel. So a GM is walking in the restroom and a Zumba fitness girl is getting out with all bright colors, jingle bells and things like that over through the lobby to the Ghost Gym Fitness for my Zumba lessons. That's something that brings me joy and fun really and makes me relax a lot.
okay, that is so awesome. Next question for you, and it's a fill in the blank question. Blank is the most valuable lesson they have learned in life. Blank is the most valuable lesson you have learned in life.
Yes, I will answer with a story. The word is do it, but I'll answer with a story. I'm a corporate girl. So when I had to make the choice to go to create Umni and have my own company and just jump into, I don't know where I'm going, that was really a fear time. I had a lot of doubts and I was like, no, would I do it? How I gonna do it? I don't know anything. That's totally area of like out of my comfort zone. And my brother asked me a question. So what's the worst thing that can happen to you? I was like, fail. He said, that's not the worst thing. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen to you? I was like, hey, what will happen after that? I was like, yeah, I'll become a GM of hotel again. So he said, is it that scary? I was like, you have nothing to lose to try. You always can go back to your old, whatever you do and whatever is your comfort zone, whatever is your profession and you know well to do. But you never will forgive yourself if you don't try. You don't know what's on the other side there for you. So that's one question my brother asked me. What's the worst that can happen to you? And the short answer is just do it.
Yeah.
That's the most valuable lesson I learned. Do it. You never know what the other side have for you.
That is, I
Unless
love that story because he makes you look and realize what is the worst thing. Okay, I can fail and I can go back doing something that I'm actually good at. So yeah, I love that story. Great story, Elitza. Thank you so much for coming on the show. For everybody listening, this is Elitza Stoilova, founder of Umni, and I will put the links to Umni in the show notes. And it was a pleasure having you on the show and getting to know you, Ellie.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you for your invitation.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, until next week, have a fantastic week. And if you enjoy the show, tell others about it. You can also catch it on YouTube. All right. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it if you could give us a review and star rating. Also, don't forget to sign up for the ICO newsletter at innovatorscanlaugh.com, where you can get the bio and details of each guest.